I would say maybe the most impactful and one that kind of dear to my heart, and it's not me that I did it. It was because of the subject. It was a kid named John Challis back in 2008. He was a Freedom High School athlete in baseball and football, and he was dying of cancer. And he had a wish to play in one more baseball game, and he was going through chemo, and he only had a couple more months to live. And he got up, and he got a hit in the baseball game, in his last game, because he wasn't able to play that year. But he wanted to go, and he caught a hit. And I did a story, and what he became in Beaver County, and I did a story on him, and he was honest. He had very little time to live, and just the inspiration that he was the kid who came up with this saying, life isn't about how many breaths you take, it's about what you do with those breaths, from a high school kid. And that was, the story took off. He became, Scott Van Pelt called me the next day, had me on his show because of the story. John became like a national story. He was on ESPN. Tom, I forget his name, a well-known guy, ESPN, came and did a feature on him. The New York Yankees brought him to New York, and he spoke to them. Alex Rodriguez brought him to his apartment. Wow. That's the kind of effect. And this all happened after I did this story. I got literally maybe 1,000 emails from people. It was on national shows, and he became, it was, it's hard to explain how that all happened. But he had in his hat, courage plus believe equals life. And he eventually had a golf tournament for his foundation that they started, and it was unbelievable. I had Mark Hendrickson, a Major League Baseball pitcher, called me. I had other professional athletes get in touch with me. They want to meet this kid. They want to go. He went to a Penguin playoff game a week after that story came out, and Mario Lemieux had him up in his box. His name was John Challis, and he will never be forgotten. He's down in the Heinz History Center. His story, his jersey, it's in the Heinz History Center. That's the kind of, and I did that story, and I will never forget the interview with him. Matt Freed videotaped it. He cried in the interview. I cried in the interview. It was only 2 months before he died. It was the most hard-hitting thing I've ever done, and probably maybe the most memorable story I've ever done.